안녕하세요. 저는 미국에서 온 막스라고 합니다. 반갑습니다. 지금 4개월 동안 한국에서 살았어요. 제가 미국 대학교에서 국제학이랑 한국어를 둘 다 전공하고 있어서 제 한국어 실력을 늘어 한국에서. 솔직히 제가 처음 왔을 때 깜짝 놀랐어요. 제가 every time I went to a restaurant or something like that, everyone just seemed so friendly to me and I couldn't tell 제가 백인이라서 아니면 한국어를 말할 수 있어서 I didn't know why people were so nice to me all the time. 근데 천천히 익숙해졌고 I realized that it's just kind of standard that 어디든지 가면 계속 인사해야 되고 that's just kind of how Korean culture functions. But then sometimes I do it a little bit overkill. Sometimes if I 한국 수업에서 정말 감사합니다라고 배워서 we learned that greeting. So then sometimes to people who are really close to me in age, I'll bow really low and I'll be 정말 감사합니다. And they're it's really not that big of a deal. You can relax. 편하게 해. 아니면 한국인이랑 술을 먹으면 그 술을 받으면 you have to hold your hand, right? But then when I did it with other friends from my university, I would hold my hand to try to be respectful. But they're oh, come on, it's not that big of a deal. You're only 1 year younger than me. But I was no, 나 한국 문화 있잖아요. 해야 돼요. I felt that I had to because that's what I thought about Korean culture. So people are constantly being respectful to each other, and there's a lot of parts of Korean culture that are really respectful. But then I think if you're closer in age, some of those things are a little bit blurred. You don't always have to follow them all the time, which I didn't really know at first. 뉴욕보다 훨씬 더 좋아요. It is so much better than New York. 뉴욕에 돌아가고 싶지 않아요. 아니, 여기 the subway is just so clean. It is impeccably clean. There's Wi-Fi everywhere. The subways come on time and every 2 seconds. 이 좋은 점 중에서 한 번밖에 없어요. 뉴욕에서. Literally, they're dirty. They never come on time. People are eating on the subways. People are crowded on the subways. Oh my God, I never want to go on public transportation anywhere else. I swear to God. Also, in New York, if you take the subway in New York, 너무 막힌데 people 아직은 they don't sit down if there's an open seat. Let's say there's 3 seats and then there's 2 people sitting on the sides. People won't sit in the center because they feel 그냥 불편해 이런 느낌. So they don't sit in the center even though they have to stand the entire time. The train is rickety and everything. They just don't sit, which makes no sense to me. It's the seat is open, sit down. But in Korea, it's if there's even 1 seat open, it will always be filled. People always sit down because it makes sense. And Korean people are smarter than New York. The thing is, Korean food already is cheaper than most American food. You can go to a jjigae and get a big thing of kimchi jjigae with banchan and rice and all this stuff for 5,000 won? You could get it really cheap. In America, if you want to get, what's the equivalent? Let's say you want to get a burger. You go to a place, and on the menu, it says that the burger is $9, which is already more expensive than the Korean burger, but that's fine. We'll ignore that for a second. So you order the burger, and you think it's $9, so you want to pay $9, but then you're with a friend. So you and the friend ordered the burger for $9, so the total is $18. But then at the end, there's a state tax imposed on your tip, which is maybe $2, so now you're at $20. And then you have to tip the waiter around 20% if you're nice. So then that's, what's 20% of 20? Move the decimal place over 4. So now you're paying $24 total when your burger was only supposed to be $9, so you're paying $3 more for the burger that was already too expensive in the first place. But in Korea, it's you look at the menu and it says, 5,000 won. And then at the end, you pay 5,000 won. And that is it. And there's no tip and there's no tax and it's really easy. And I want to live here forever. In America, if you want to order food from delivery, you don't order. Uber Eats is like a thing, but most often you just call the restaurant and someone hired by the restaurant specifically will just come bring you the food. But then because of that, it takes a really long time to get your food. You'll order your food and it's like sometimes maybe like 45 minutes, an hour. Like families are trained, if they want to eat at 7, they are trained to like put in the order for the pizza at like 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and then it'll come at 7 when they all get together, right? But then in Korea, there's all these apps, 뭐 Uber Eats, 여기요, 다 쓸 수 있고, and the guy gets to you in like, I've gotten McDonald's to my house in like 15 minutes, like 20 minutes. Like, I don't know how fast that man is driving, and it doesn't seem to be safe, but it's so crazy. He gets there in like 20 minutes or something, and it's so fast. But then the most insane thing to me is if you order jjajangmyeon from a Chinese restaurant, he delivers it to you in the little cabinet thing, and he pulls out your jjajangmyeon, and it's great and it's delicious. But the jjajangmyeon comes in this bowl that you can't throw away. It's not like it's a recyclable bowl. So then when I first ordered jjajangmyeon, I got this bowl, and then I ate my jjajangmyeon, and I was like, well, what do I do with this bowl? Like, I don't want to keep this bowl. So then I contacted my Korean friend, and I was like, I just ordered jjajangmyeon. Like, what do I do with the bowl? And she's like, you leave it outside your door. And I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, where's it gonna go? And she's like, the guy's gonna come back and get it. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, if you leave the jjajangmyeon bowl outside, the guy comes back and gets the bowl. Makes absolutely no sense to me. The fact that every pedal driver does his route like twice just to get the bowls back for the jjajangmyeon, like, 너무 어려운데? 수고했어요, pedal drivers. 수고했어요. 여기서 야외에서 술을 먹을 수 있어서 it's awesome. In America, there's public drinking laws. Picnic 하려고 하면 you can't also have it with like beer or something in a public space. You can only have alcohol indoors. Or like, you could maybe have it right outside your house, like in like a backyard or something. You could drink alcohol. But like if you go to a public 공원 or something like that, you can't drink. But then in Korea, you go to Hangang and you walk for an hour and a half with your friends, and you go to a 편의점 and you get a beer, and you can just walk with the beer, you can sit with the beer. Or I like being able to drink alcohol whenever I want. So that was good. Before I came to Korea, I thought that I was gonna have to speak Korean everywhere I went because I thought people weren't gonna be able to understand English. But then I met a lot of friends who were like, oh, like, if something is hard to explain in Korean, just explain it in English and I'll understand it. And I'm like, what? Like, you can, like, I can just say anything in English and you can understand? And they're like, 그치? Like, of course I can understand it. I'm like, okay, so 영어로 말해봐. And they're like, And I'm like, what? Like, how can you understand everything that I'm saying in English, but then can't say things back to me? I just thought that 너무 신기하다고 생각했어요. So like, when I learn Korean, my speaking is like way better than my listening. So I can speak in Korean, but honestly, if someone talks to me really fast, I generally can't understand things. So then especially, I was so confused. I was like, people, their English listening skills are so good. And also, I have friends at school who take courses taught in English. And they can sit in the course, hear the teacher speak in English, and understand everything. But then 대답해야 하면 영어로 대답할 수 없어요. 그 선생님한테. It's like really hard for them to answer anything in English, but then they can understand the whole thing in the class. And they do well in the class. They get A's in the class, and it makes absolutely no sense to me. 한국에서 영어를 가르치는 이유 이거예요. Like, I wanted to come teach English in Korea because I know kids have to like do well on like the CSAT or like 영어 시험을 잘 봐야 돼서 like 이런 식으로 영어를 배워야 돼요. 이해하는데 근데 여기서 영어를 가르칠 수 있으면 제 학생한테 like 뭐 너무 realistic 뭐 실력도 가르칠 수 있어서 like that's why I wanted to teach English here, because I thought like it's really sad that people spend so much money, 돈을 많이 내고 계속 영어 학원에 다니고 있고 they're like trying so hard. 근데 아직은 그 말하는 걸 할 수 없어서 좀 아쉬워요. I think if you're an American trying to come to Korea during your life, it's really important to learn a little bit of Korean and try to show a little bit of respect for the country that you're trying to visit. Even if you can go around here and speak English to everyone, if you can show an effort to people that you've studied a little bit of Korean out of a love and respect for the culture, I think that's should be important for all people who come to visit here. And then when you do visit here, go to Hangang and have a picnic with your friends and drink alcohol outside. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and also like it and comment in the comment section below. 안녕.